business news, and for that I'm joined by Stephen Carroll. Hello.
Hello, Jade.
We're going to start with the change at the top of Microsoft.
Yeah, it's been the big corporate guessing game of the past year or so. Who would take over as head of the world's largest software maker? The man's been named. He's Satya Nadella. He was head of Microsoft's cloud computing business and said he wants to move the firm into a mobile-first and cloud-first world. How he'll be able to do that, though, will be interesting to see, as he'll have the eyes of both Microsoft founder Bill Gates and the outgoing CEO Steve Ballmer looking over his shoulder. So how far will that cloud carry Mr. Nadella? Well, Carl Brown has been finding out.
46-year-old Satya Nadella has spent almost half his life at Microsoft. What put him on the short list for the top job was his expertise in virtual technology and innovation.
The world going forward is more of a software-powered world delivered in devices and services. I think we have the best platform to change the world.
Nadella has led Microsoft's recent moves towards cloud computing, a new area for a company that has traditionally focused on software installed on personal computers rather than remote servers.
Satya's got the right background to lead the company during this era. There's a challenge in mobile computing. There's an opportunity in the cloud.
Company leaders hope Nadella will improve the fortunes of the world's largest software company in mobile computing, where it lags behind Apple and Google. But the company seems unlikely to shift from its current and often criticized strategy of making its own tablets and mobile devices. Nadella replaces Stephen Ballmer to become only the third CEO since Microsoft was founded by Bill Gates in 1975. Gates will step down as chairman, but will stay on as a technical advisor.
And of course, Satya Nadella's big challenge will be to convince investors that he can bring Microsoft into this new era. Let's just look at what happened to Microsoft's share price during those 14 years with Steve Ballmer at the helm. As you can see, it plunged from a value of over $60 to a closing value yesterday of just over $36. Shares in the company actually fell slightly after the announcement of Mr. Nadella's appointment.
All right, and bring us up to date with how the rest of the markets are shaping up.
Well, after those big sell-offs that we saw earlier in the week on Monday and Tuesday, Wall Street did manage to claw back some of those losses. You can see the Dow Jones there closed up almost 0.5% and the Nasdaq up almost 0.9%. Over in Asia, that lead did give the Asian markets some cheer, but not very much. As you can see, the Nikkei is up by 1.4%, not quite regaining those losses yesterday. It had closed down over 4%. One share, though, that is doing very well is Panasonic. They're up over 19% after reporting they'd returned to profit in the last 9 months of 2013. Markets in mainland China still closed. The Hang Seng and Hong Kong just touching slightly into the red there.
Well, here in France, questions are being asked about Google and its tax bill.
Yeah, reports in the magazine Le Point say the internet search giant could have to pay French tax authorities up to €1 billion in back taxes. Now, France has been investigating Google's tax affairs since 2011, and in particular, how it funnels revenue from its French operation through its European headquarters in Ireland. Now, France's digital economy minister says there's nothing new in this report, while the company itself says it won't be commenting on rumours. But that story I'm sure we'll hear more of later.
Right, there's lots of other company news around today. What's caught your eye, Stephen?
We're going to start first with the American bank Morgan Stanley, that's become the latest to settle claims over mis-selling mortgage-backed securities in the run-up to the subprime crisis. The lender will have to pay $1.25 billion to authorities. It comes after last November's settlement by JP Morgan of $13 billion and others by Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. The online video streaming service Netflix says it wants to raise $400 million in new capital to fund its expansion. The operation would help its growth in Europe, including possible launches in France and Germany. It would also be used to fund more original programming like House of Cards, which is just renewed for a third season. And unions of the French haulage company Maury Ducrot have agreed a restructuring plan which will see more than half of the 5,000 workers there lose their jobs. Just over 2,200 posts will be saved by the plan. Staff of the company have been protesting for weeks over the planned job cuts.
All right, well, the French economy may still be in the doldrums, but it certainly hasn't affected one of their favourite food groups, has it?
No, indeed. Despite the record number of people out of work at the end of last year, it hasn't affected the French appetite for foie gras. While the average spend on Christmas actually fell here last year, new figures show that sales grew by more than 3% of foie gras over the Christmas period. French consumers spent almost 287 million euros on foie gras, and despite their belts being squeezed by increased taxes, they were still able to afford the delicacy, which retails at about 57 euros per kilo. So it's an expensive treat, but the French still like it.
It certainly is. All right, thanks very much for that update of the business news, Stephen Carroll. It's time now to find out what's got the internet ablaze.